We're here on Woodman Avenue. It was here 1 year ago that a massive explosion rocked this old East Village neighborhood. It completely leveled one home and badly damaged several more. Several firefighters were seriously injured. We talked to two of the firefighters who rushed to the scene that night, what they did, what they saw, and how lucky we were that no one was killed.
That call quickly moved from an auto extrication call to a gas emergency call, and everything rapidly advanced very quickly. We entered 450 Woodman Ave through the back door, and our crews that were there, they had the equipment that we needed that identified that we were in an explosive environment. At that point, we made a tactical decision to pull out of the house and redeploy back to the front of the house. We had assets sitting right in front of the house that needed to be pulled back and protected. And from there, the explosion rapidly advanced in about a minute and a half. So if we had been doing a full search of the house and remained in the house, we definitely would have all been still inside that house.
Obviously, seeing something like that happen in front of you is something that you think could always potentially happen, but you don't expect it to. So it basically went from a quiet street in the summer to a war zone in the blink of an eye. And I remember seeing people that I work with and I was just sitting around the table with 20 minutes prior to that, getting hit with walls of debris and buried, and it was pretty traumatic at the moment.
You know, this is the number one for this generation of firefighters currently. And to really come back here today and look at, how narrow this street is and in relation to where we were standing, we were standing in the center of that street and standing by the stop sign. So there's no reason why we didn't get hurt more. And in saying that, we had firefighters that had severe critical injuries that will carry on with them for the rest of their life. But these are the strongest people I've ever met, and they're still receiving treatments. And I'm in awe of their courage and their strength. And then aftermath, we came back and where we were standing, there was large sections of walls and roofs and all the glass and nails for the building, they were projected at us like a shotgun, and we were quite fortunate that none of that was embedded in us.
Well, after the house exploded, at the time I was in front of engine 2 holding the hand line. We had just backed the vehicles up, and members that I was working with were just going forward to assist with evacuation and other tasks when it exploded. And then as it exploded, I took cover behind the engine with the driver of the engine I was with. And there was debris raining down on us for quite some time, but right after the explosion, the Mayday was called for a downed firefighter. We all ran to that scene where Captain Evans was, and we dug that fallen that firefighter out, and we took him over to Quebec Street, where EMS was meeting with us. And I just remember that's kind of a moment that sticks in my head quite a lot from this call. And then turning around and seeing just a wall of fire where a house used to be, and house fires from raining debris starting up on 2 to 3 houses of each side of that home. So it was pretty traumatic to see, but how did I not get hit with something? That's just something I haven't been able to get past either, is knowing how I couldn't get hit. The only thing I can recall was getting a nail or a spike through my boot, and it went between my toes. So that was the only thing, and that's something that kind of I think about often too, is how did I escape that when some people were so injured?
I think that night we were very lucky. I think London was very lucky that no lives were lost. I give a lot of credit to the community. When this incident first happened, they were on top of things. They were helping whoever they thought needed help. They were knocking on doors, and that was very valuable. That saved seconds, and seconds can save lives.
There's a lot of pros that came from this evening as well as the negatives. I think the pros outweigh the negatives. Seeing the community come together, I feel like after this incident happened, the OEV term kind of had a whole new meaning. Every time I see it now, I kind of think of what happened this night and how the community jumped in.
London police were fantastic in assisting us. EMS was on scene and staging to prepare for the worst, and luckily they were here. So all of London's first responders that day really came together, and it was really great to see.